Hello. So in chapter 1, you guys are introduced to the history of Python and the history of coding and this massive machine that was used to code. And then we get to where you guys are getting introduced to the print statement, where your first program is always hello world. And that's also including that you have the program fully installed, whether you're using the idle program or you're using Visual Studio Code. And there's videos on YouTube and pages online that you're able to do that with. And then something that I would introduce in chapter 1 rather than in chapter 2 that they do in this text is that they introduce the variables, where we can assign variable to a number, we can assign it to a input statement, and even a float or an integer, and we will get to that in chapter 2. But then when we're naming variables, we want to make sure that we have the same casings, because one minor case of it being uppercase then lowercase or lowercase then uppercase will throw your entire code. When you're typing out your code in Visual Studio Code, it's able to recognize variables that you already have preset. And that makes it super nice when you have to write very long code and making sure that nothing is out of order or something isn't supposed to be is case sensitive. And because the program is white space and it is case sensitive, so one minor error will throw your entire code, especially if you're 30 lines down and you can't see it, and so you have to sit there for a couple hours trying to figure out what's going wrong. So the print statement we use quite a bit, especially with a lot of the code. We use the print statement to display hello world, to display values when you're doing calculations, or even to state a variable that we already have preset. And then we also can use it, I've used it for later code, where I use the print statement in Python to show the certain sections where the code is working or where it's not. So like subsection 1, 2, 3, 4, and go all the way down on like a 30-line code, and you're able to see where the code is breaking or where it's actually working. And that makes it super nice. But if we save this first and we run it, we're able to see that we see that there's a 3, 4, and 5. We see the hello world, and we also see the 15. And so it's very important, especially with the casings, to make sure that your casings that you use are very consistent, because a simple casing can throw your entire 30-line code out the window just because of it.